Welcome back to another Dexter review. This week, episode 3, the one where Dexter has to hide the body. Again. So let's get right into this. I do 3 big yays and 3 big nays. Let's start off with big nay number 3. Dexter doesn't really get a lot to do this episode, does he? He just has to move Matt's body again. He just has to hide Matt's body again. It doesn't really do much for Dexter as a character. I don't feel like I learn anything from him. And we've only really got 10 episodes to redeem his character. So I'm a little worried at this point. We're 3 episodes in, and at this point it's starting, episode 2 and 3 now, we're seeing it as a whole. It's starting to kind of plod along, kind of meandery. And it's a little worrying. I still have faith. 7 episodes. We're still early in the game. But man, Dexter's arc being the weak link of the episode kind of scares me. And it makes me a little bit nervous. One thing that I did love, though, was the bit where he's got the jacket and he's, faking the scent of Matt, and there's, a beautiful cinematography, the moon on the snow. There's a great soundtrack song. He's dancing, and it's kind of, perversely beautiful, and it's a great little sequence, and I loved that. But apart from that, it kind of just plods along, and I'm a little worried at this point that we're not going to be getting the stuff I want from Dexter for this final limited series that's going to redeem his character. Big name number 2. The sniper serial killer. So, we finally kind of got our first proper glimpse of the serial killer of the year. The sniper. This man who puts a woman in his room, and we've got little glimpses throughout, but now we finally get it. We finally get the end to his ritual, the sniper sequence, and it's shot beautifully. There's some great close-ups. It's a beautiful aerial bird's-eye view shot. She's running. But I don't know. Part of me is thinking that this isn't really that interesting. It's not that exciting. It's not that unique and different. It's just a man who puts a woman in a room, watches her on a video, and then he fakes her escape, and then he just shoots her in the back. And it's okay. So this might be a spoiler. So skip ahead 2 minutes, 3 minutes if you don't bloody know anything about the person's face or identity or anything like that. But seems pretty obvious to me that it's Kurt. We see his eyes. It's really clearly him. The body mass and everything, and just kind of fits with everything. And I wonder if maybe, especially because of the scene at the end where he's because he's all where's Matt? Where's Matt? Rah, rah, where's Matt? Rah, and he's the angry father, and he's and we think that's real. And at the end he's drinking, and he's all happy, and Dexter's what's going on here? And the most interesting thing was the stinger at the end, where he's I saw Matt, we had a video chat, I've seen him. And Dexter's I don't believe this guy, because I killed that guy. What's going on? And that's really interesting and bizarre and mysterious. And I just think that maybe if this big town dad who was super angry had that moment at the end of the episode, and we're all just wait, what? Why is he faking this video call that? I'm so confused and interested. And then maybe we go, oh my God, maybe he's that sniper guy. But I feel we've been hidden from the sniper guy, but not enough where I just know it's him. So I think maybe they could have filmed him from different angles and not shown the eyes. There's heaps of close-ups of the eyes, and I'm I've seen the actor acting, and I've seen him in so many stuff. It's not a unknown actor where I'm not able to place those eyes. I just think it's a weird choice, and I think that it would be kind of slightly more interesting if we were left on the cliffhanger and we were maybe being able to piece it together now. So you're discussing with your friends and stuff, and you're kind of going oh, I think it could be him, but there wasn't concrete evidence. Whereas I think if I'm not going to do it because I can't be bothered. I'm a lazy guy. But you could get a still of his eyes and a still of him just being Kurt, being angry dad, and could just be look at the eyes, they're the same. So it's a little obvious, and I just think that's maybe a missed opportunity to kind of tease this out in a different way. That being said, he's an amazing actor. Whatever his name is, I'll put it there or whatever. But I don't know. I think there's a different way to do this setup at the start. I am excited for him to be the serial killer of the year, but at this point, he's not really jumping out at me and making me go oh, I can't wait. It feels a little bit obvious what's going to happen with him and Dexter at this point. I'm happy to be wrong, but yeah, I don't know. It's not winning me over the way I'd really hoped it would. I would be curious what everyone else thinks about the serial killer of the year so far. Are we all craving? Are we all kind of wishing it was a bit different? Because at this point, I'm way more interested in the Yellow-Eyes Demon antagonist character. I don't know his name. He's the guy who's clearly creepy. He's drove up on the side of the road, And he's like, Harrison's potential girlfriend character, forgot her name too, but you know, he's like, oh, I'm scary and creepy. Ooh. And I really like him. Bloody Yellow Eyes is, yeah, he's exciting. He's a great actor. I'm more interested in to see where his kind of obvious darkness and dark tendencies are going to head, because he's clearly a creepy guy. So I'm interested to see where that goes. And if you don't understand why I'm calling him Yellow Eyes, bloody check out Supernatural. Like, at least the first 5 seasons, which somehow is only the first third of the show. But it's good. Big Nay, number 1. Deb Ghost. Again. She's done the unthinkable. She's done the hat trick, but for nays. I was dreading this, but I mean, maybe saying hat trick. It should be maybe 3 golden ducks in a row or something. That's a lot of cricket references. I don't really love cricket that much. So Deb Ghost is killing me. It's killing me. I'm loathing every moment of it. Every single line delivery, all the things. It's absolutely just killing me. I miss Harry. I miss Alive Deb. I miss when the actress was good. Like, I'm just missing it all. But what's even worse is that it's not just bad dialogue, bad delivery, and bad kind of idea of what the dark passenger, like, second voice is now being and doing and stuff. They're just adding stuff now. It feels like a horror villain where they're just like, oh, it's the sequel, so we've got to change it, we've got to add it and do more stuff. So now there's a scene where he's talking to like the principal or whatever, and then suddenly Deb is just in the principal's outfit, just yelling at him in the costume, and I'm just like, oh no, what is happening? Every episode something worse happens. So now the Deb Ghost is just this big, lame, gimmicky kind of thing, like a Freddy Krueger, like a horror villain, that they're just adding stuff and doing stuff, and they're just going crazy. Fucking next episode, Deb's gonna be like, I've come back from hell, I've come back from Manhattan. And it's just, I'm so sick of it. It's gonna keep being in every episode, and it's the worst part of the show for me, and I'm absolutely loathing it. But somehow, it's not the worst part of this episode, and it's not the worst part with Deb, because Deb's putting the body parts into the wood chipper and blood's exploding everywhere, and she's all like, ah! And she's doing the worst acting ever, and she's like, ha 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 ha, this is how we get rid of Matt's body, and the acting is atrocious. I don't know how she's fallen so far. It's heartbreaking. But then Dexter tops the Cringe City dialogue meter. What? Ugh. Essentially, he says, I don't know, Deb, that's a bit Fargo, don't you think? And I had to double take. I was like, what? What? Did he say that's a bit far, though, don't you think? No. I went back. I put the subtitles on. It took me ages to figure the subtitles on Paramount. It doesn't matter. He says, that's a bit Fargo, don't you think? Like the movie Fargo. Like the show based off the movie Fargo. Like the thing set in the snowy woods. Dexter essentially went from hot, sweaty boys being all sweaty in Miami to now freezing cold, Fargo-esque Fargo land with snow and stuff. And that was the first thing that crossed my mind when I saw the trailer, when I watched the show. I'm like, it's like Dexter went to Fargo land. And then Dexter, in this episode, says, that's a bit Fargo, don't you think? My brain just shut down. I couldn't compute it. I couldn't understand it. It just shut down. And I don't know what to say. I wonder if people even noticed, or if people were like, Fargo. But my brain just like exploded, and it completely threw me out of the episode. So, before the big yays, I actually have a little cheeky segment in the middle, which is a big yay that suddenly turned into a big nay. So it's kind of a mix. Maybe I'll turn it into a big whatever. But I don't know. Why am I even worrying about what I'm calling it? Who cares? Essentially, there was a blood spatter guy this episode, a CSI guy, and he was all like blood spatter analyzing, and Dexter was looking from the distance being like, oh no, he's good at his job. That used to be me. And that was amazing. That was so exciting and fun, and I loved it. And then suddenly it was just over, and he was gone for the whole episode. And I just think that's an absolute waste. Like, and it just made me sad that this wasn't the whole episode plot of Dexter having to like one-up this guy, and there's this like cat and mouse game against this old ex-blood spatter analyst and this new blood spatter analyst guy, and just this kind of, I don't know, this versus thing they could have done, or like, and then, you know, as well, like the fact that it's just going to be a little tease, like a little thing. I suppose that's okay, but then it really just made me go, I wish this season he was just a blood spatter guy. Like, I know he's trying to hide out and be different, but why couldn't he just have the same job? Like, heaps of people have jobs that are the same, but I don't know. Like, Harrison still found him, even though he's just like a gun shop owner guy now. Like, I don't know. It wouldn't have made a difference if it was a blood spatter guy, except we would have got a better show, because we would have got all those amazing forensic scenes where he's all like being like, the blood spattered here and it did this and it did all that, and like, I don't know, that was one of the most exciting parts of the show, and I really miss it. So yeah, a big yay that turned right into a big nay. Big yay number 3. There was a bear in this episode. Like a bear, like a big old CGI bear, and it's just like, ah. That was awesome. I love bears. They're such cool animals. I love bears and things. There's so many cool bears in shows, and just to see a bear, I was like, wow, that's awesome. Am I disappointed there wasn't like a bear chase or a kind of irreverent bear like mauling attack sequence where Dexter had to fight off a bear and he's stabbing the bear and the bear's fighting us, and it's just like a 20-minute sequence of them wrestling in the snow? Wait, this is a big yay. This should be a big nay. Why the hell wasn't there a reverent Dexter vs. Bear sequence in this? Big yay number 2. Harrison. He's done it. He's bloody done it again. Hat-trick 3 times in a row. All big yays. I do not understand how they're doing this character so well. Like, I don't understand why he's one of my favorite characters. Like, have I gone insane? I've clearly gone insane. Like, I don't know. I'm loving him so much. Like, he's such an interesting character. And this episode, I found him way more compelling than Dexter. And part of me is like, I love that Harrison's so interesting. And then I'm like, wait, he's more interesting than Dexter this episode? What? His story is somehow getting more interesting, like, the more mysterious he gets. Like, he's a genius, which really scares me. I'm kind of getting this Light Yagami vibe from him, where he's, like, really kind to, like, kind of the innocent and certain types of people, like with the nerd, where the guy's being constantly bullied by the jocks, kind of gravitates towards him. But then we see this really scary, intense malice towards the jocks, like that bit where he like choke holds the guy, like really scary stuff, and it kind of building and building to this like moment where I'm just like, oh, he's definitely going to be a serial killer. He totally killed Hannah. Like, it's really scary, and it's building and building. But then there's like little moments where I'm like, I'm not sure how it's actually going to go. Like, maybe it's just been building, but he's not actually done anything yet. And the moment that really frightened me was when the nerd guy that's been bullied, who's like sending him all these photos of his drawings and stuff, and it's all bloody and disgusting, all the jocks are dead and stuff. And Harrison's eyes just like are popping and glowing, and there's this like tiny little smile that's creeping into his face, and I'm really worried, and I'm wondering, are we going to kind of get this like grandfather, like grandson kind of moment where he almost kind of harries this guy, you know, like he kind of guides this guy into like doing something absolutely horrific, and like in those photos he's like a school shooter and some really scary stuff. Like, he's not just like, whoa dude, whoa, he's like, whoa, you're like the Punisher or something. And it's, I'm kind of quite worried that they're going to kind of push it in this direction where he kind of guides this little kid, like this guy who's been tormented and bullied all his life, into doing something horrific. Or is he going to do it for him? Really interesting, really scary stuff. Every moment of his kind of, it's almost like high school shenanigans, and we could almost fall into this kind of like Degrassi kind of thing with the jocks and the nerds and all this stuff. But there's that underlying tension that Harrison is Dexter's son, and maybe he has the dark tendencies. And the way it's being delivered and the way the performance is being handled, there's just this underlining current of just fear and nervousness I have with all the scenes. And I'm bloody loving it. It's crazy. I can't believe how much I'm enjoying it. Last little thing I loved about Harrison is the bit where they're in the car and Dexter's like, I'm sorry, all that stuff, but now I'm here for you. And then Harrison kind of gives him a look, and for a second I'm like, tell him you got dark tendencies! Tell him you're also a Dexter! Tell him! Big nay number 1. Now this moment absolutely blindsided me. Last week we had the Hannah thing, so I didn't think something could top it, but something has obviously topped it this week, and I think you all know exactly what I'm talking about. This week, we are introduced to random character, name I've forgotten. Maybe I'll put it here or whatever, but who cares? All we need to know is there's a character now who is a famous $1 million Instagrammer, true crime podcaster. We've done it. We've got a podcaster in the show. I'm so excited. I hope this true crime podcaster gets Dexter on her show. I hope she's previously done a Bay Harbor Butcher podcast. Like, oh my god, I'm so excited. I have all these new ideas and theories of like what I want the show to end. Like, I want Dexter, like the end of the show now. Dexter, he's in prison. He's like sitting behind the bars, and then like we go into the bars and he's just recording a podcast as, you know, the court Bay Harbor Butcher. That's the end of the show now. I want him to be recording a podcast, and you know, maybe we call it Darkly Dreaming Dexter. Like the book. That one. That book. I'll put an image of this is 3 books in one, so you probably can't read it, but I'll put the image there or something. But yeah, I want Dexter to be a podcaster, a true crime podcaster that's also a serial killer. That would be so funny. That would be so insane. I think that's the way to end the show. That's clearly what the original creator was like, I got the end, and I've worked backwards. He's worked backwards, and now we're at that point where the podcaster has been introduced that's going to plant that seed, and then at the end, he's sitting behind the bars recording a sweet pod, because true crime podcasts are really big, and Dexter hosting one would make me laugh so hard. I would love it. It would. I could die happy. And I would probably die as soon as the finale ended, because I'd die from laughing too hard, because it would be so fucking funny. Oh my lord. It's all I want in this world now. I thought I wanted a good ending for Dexter, but I want him to be a true crime podcaster. That's all I want. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm super curious what everyone else's big yays and big nays are. Did I miss any? Do you agree with me? Do you not? And most importantly, do you think Harrison is going to be a Dexter serial killer? Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, do all the bloody things, and check out my other podcasts, 2 Brothers, 1 Pilot, Top and Tail, and Spoiler Talk. Links in the description.